December 21st is the winter solstice, the official first day of winter, when the northern hemisphere is tilted furthest away from the sun, resulting in the shortest amount of daylight all year, and it means that the cold days of January are just around the corner. Or, as liberals call it, it's climate change. And if you were able to get a real Christmas tree this year, you sure are lucky, because climate change is making Christmas tree shopping harder than ever, they say. But thankfully, Coldplay has canceled their tour promoting their new album, Everyday Life, because they were worried about the environmental impact of touring. I actually think this is a great idea, not because I'm concerned about the carbon footprint that all the trucks carrying their stage and equipment is going to cause. I'm glad that they decided to put an end to the noise pollution that their music is causing. But there's another problem that needs to be addressed. According to the Liberals, actor Chris Pratt recently posted a picture on his Instagram showing him cooling down after a workout while drinking out of a plastic water bottle. How dare you? Then Aquaman Jason Momoa commented on his Instagram post, calling him out for not using a reusable bottle, and his bravery made international news. Quote, "Bro, I love you, but WTF on the water bottle, no single-use plastic, come on." Chris Pratt then apologized. Earlier this year, the San Francisco airport actually banned the sale of plastic water bottles, because, as you know, that's the biggest problem San Francisco is facing these days. You can't even take a few steps down San Francisco streets these days without accidentally stepping in a pile of liberalism, but thank goodness we got those plastic water bottles off the shelves. A few weeks ago, hundreds of bratty, privileged college kids stormed the field and interrupted the Yale-Harvard football game, demanding that climate change be stopped. And of course, the Washington Post was concerned about the environmental impact of our Thanksgiving dinners. And now some Catholic churches are encouraging their members to confess to their eco-sins and seek forgiveness for their carbon emissions. Global warming hysteria is getting so out of control. I mean, what's next? Is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez gonna blame white people for this whole thing? Wait, what's this?
Do we see largely that it's the global south and communities of color that may be bearing the brunt of the initial havoc from climate change?
Without a doubt, without a doubt.
And in terms of that wealth, the people who are producing climate change, the folks that are responsible for the largest amount of emissions, or communities or corporations, they tend to be predominantly white, correct?
Yes, and every study backs that up.
Just when you thought that liberals had blamed us for all of the world's problems, now we're responsible for bad weather too. And it's starting to scare the children, which of course is their goal, and now some psychologists are saying that young people are suffering from eco-anxiety from listening to all of this.
There will be people who can no longer live in the cities that they call home today. There is food grown in this country that will no longer prosper in these soils. There's going to be massive migration of tens or hundreds of millions of people from countries that are literally uninhabitable or underwater.
The clock is ticking and getting close to running out.
But fear not, kids. Us boomers, as you say, have been around the block a few times. And thankfully, some people with brains have saved historical artifacts, like this article from 1989 in the Associated Press, where the United Nations warned 30 years ago that the planet only had 10 years to survive. Sound familiar? And since the climate is changing because, well, winter is here, what better time to cozy up by the fireplace, get a cup of hot chocolate, and a good book? I may be a little biased, but I recommend my new book, The Liberal Media Industrial Complex. Get it in paperback from Amazon.com or download the ebook onto your tablet or your e-reading device. It may or may not be too late to get it in time for Christmas, depending on whether or not you're using Amazon Prime or want to pay for next day shipping. So depending on when you're watching this, head on over to Amazon.com or click the link in the description below and check it out. Wait, while you're there, order some of my other books like Liberalism Find a Cure and the classic True Story of Fake News.